Hi, and welcome to Empowered Marketing by Professor Hines. This podcast is devoted to beginning marketers and owners of small businesses. We're here to help you learn social media marketing. Each episode presents important elements in social media marketing that you can use in your campaigns to generate better results, especially more business. Empowered Marketing is exclusively sponsored by A-Cubed Marketing Services in Orange County, California. A-Cubed Marketing Services serves small and mid-sized businesses in the areas of strategic marketing consultation, social media marketing using all forms of social media, campaign creation and management in both paid and owned media, pay-per-click campaigns, search engine optimization, graphic design, and videography. A-Cubed Marketing is owned and managed by me, Professor Joe Hines. My experience includes over 20 years of Fortune 100 corporation marketing management, as well as 10 years of academic work as professor at California State University Fullerton, Concordia University, Biola University, Cal Baptist University, and Fullerton College. You can find out more about A-Cubed Marketing Services. Use the link on the homepage of this podcast or call A-Cubed Marketing at 714-872-0561. Welcome back to our continuing course in social media marketing. This is Professor Joe Hines. If this is your first time with me, in episode 12, I'm continuing the discussion of social influence that I started back in episode 9. To get the full benefit of this section, I'd recommend starting back at episode 9, or even back to episode 1 and then work forward. Today, I'm adding a few new arrows to your quiver when it comes to thoroughly understanding social influence. This episode includes a discussion of social object theory, defining social capital, appreciating the various forms that social capital takes, the 6 forms of influencer power, how brands exert influencer power across their networks by way of spokespeople, understanding which of the various social platforms are most commonly used in social influencer marketing, and finally, cascades, a model for how information moves from people with more influence to people with less influence in social media. As in previous episodes, there's a PowerPoint presentation which you can download to accompany this and the last few episodes on the topic of social influence. Look for the link in today's episode description or in my social media page. Also, if you're enjoying the content, I have a vlog called Professor Hines' Weekly Marketing Message, and it's available on our website at https://acubedmarketing.com/vlogs/weekly-marketing-message. If you'd like to talk with me about how this information can be put to work in the context of your business, you can also schedule a free consult with me through Calendly. Go to https://calendly.com/a-cubed_marketing/introductory-consultation to schedule with me. So without any more delay, let's go over to my classroom at Whittier College, where I've got a lot of interesting information waiting for you. Social object theory. As I mentioned, these social objects are the reasons why we come together in social media in the first place. It's the thing, it's like the currency. It's the thing of value that we're trading between each other, okay? So, it's the reason why tribes form. There was another reason why I showed you the picture of the deadhead couple. Because at one time, back in the 60s and early 70s, when those 2 old coots were in college, they used to follow the dead all over the country.
You know, they had their VW bus with the bong in the back, and they would drive into all the shows at the fairgrounds and watch the Dead play all weekend. And when the Dead picked up and left for the next fairground, they followed them. So there were a lot of people who actually formed communities where the sole thing that all these people had around them were love for the Grateful Dead. Okay? That, in their day, that was the social object. Like today, when we go to YouTube, some of us are gathered around particular forms of videos. Like, do you guys know who Malcolm Gladwell is? He's a writer. He writes for the New Yorker and the Atlantic and New York Times and a bunch of other papers on the East Coast. And he does a lot of TED Talks and stuff. I like listening or watching. I like his podcasts and I like his videos on YouTube. You guys ever watch TED videos? TED Talks? So again, that's another thing that a lot of people might gather around or have common interest in. And if you've ever looked at YouTube, and I know you guys all have, lots of times people post comments underneath a particular video. You can begin to have a conversation around a video. You've seen that behavior before too, right? Yes? Okay. So these are social objects. It's the thing that tribal members are passionate about. So this screen grab that I put on here is for a social media page called Dogster. Okay? And dogs are the social objects on that page. People, if you are a cat person, you're not going to go to Dogster. And if you don't like animals at all, you're not going to be there either. But if you happen to love dogs, this might be a great place for you to go. Now let's talk about some of the social networks that you guys might be on. And what do you think the social objects are for instance, YouTube? What might attract you to spend time on YouTube? What kinds of videos do you like there? Saturday Night Live. Okay, great. Love that. How about on Instagram? Just pictures of particular things or just anything? What is it? Memes. Sure, a lot of people like memes, right? How about Snapchat? Any reason why we would go there? Do you guys use Snapchat? What do you use it for? Of course, but are there certain objects, certain social objects that we would go there for? Okay, great. So celebrities. Sure, why not? Pinterest. Do you guys use Pinterest much? What do you use it for? Ideas about what? Anything. Okay. Great, but you use it pretty frequently. Yeah. Okay, because you're looking for like brainstorming things, right? Just health food. Yeah. Cool. All right. So that for you is a social community, and Pinterest, what you're looking for are lists or ideas of things. Okay. So I mentioned already that social capital can be reputation value, meaning that when I opened the door for Sally with Tom, I had some value, the value of my relationship with Tom, and potentially the commercial value of that relationship with Tom, because Tom and I don't work in the same company anymore, but Tom can continue to do things for me that will help me in my career. Potentially, he could introduce me to new clients, right? Or potentially, he could send me employee referrals as well. So there's an actual dollar value that you possibly could assess to the relationship that I have with Tom. However, if I send Tom a couple of bad choices for new employee hires, in the future, it's possible that I may have outworn my welcome with Tom. Tom's gotten burnt too many times because my referrals to him have been pretty rotten. So there's an actual value to that. That way we can talk about the value of the reputation. Well, let's look at, and when you look at the value of the reputation, you're talking about a term called social capital. Okay, social capital. Capital in general are the dollars that companies have that they invest back into themselves to help themselves grow. If I need to put in a new production line in my manufacturing plant, I'm going to require some capital to do it. So there's a real monetary value to this. And so what we're saying here is that our personal relationships with people, whether they're just friend-based relationships or they are business relationships, or maybe a combination of the two, there's also a real value to that relationship. So we can use that value to do lots of different kinds of things for people. One of the things that we can do is we can bridge. Bridging is when I have connections to other people that somebody else could benefit from. And let's say that I've got, and this has happened many times, a friend will say, hey, I just got laid off. Now, I happen to have 2,500 or so first-degree connections in LinkedIn. So a friend of mine's been laid off. I'll say, hey, Jerry, why don't you go to my LinkedIn page and just start looking through the 2,500 or so contacts that I have in there. And if any of that seems valuable to you, like you find a company that you think you might be interested in learning more about, if there's a person that works in that company, or if there's anything else that you find of value, let me know, and I'm going to help you bridge that relationship. I'm going to create a warm introduction for you in LinkedIn that'll say, hey, Jerry, I'd like you to meet my former student Wyatt, okay? And then Wyatt's going to get to go in, like the Sally example. That's bridging. Bonding is another kind. Bonding is a deeper emotional connect, okay? Bridging, you can think a lot in terms of business relationships and personal and social networking. But bonding relationships are going to be able to answer needs that we have that are much more sensitive. Emotional connections. So, for instance, there's a site called Divorced Moms, which, as you would imagine, is a site for, guess who? There you go. See, this is an easy class, you guys. Okay, where is my mouse and why is it not working for me? How come I can't get there? Do you guys see the mouse with the cursor anywhere? Where is it? It's not showing up at all on my screen. I want to open it. Sorry, hang on, you guys. What do you want me to do? Okay, let's try that. Okay, I'll go back in.
It's not mirroring it. Like, the reason why you don't see the mouse is because it doesn't mirror it.
It doesn't mirror it.
I'll do it after class.
That would be great. Okay. The tech on this campus leaves a little bit to be desired. Okay. Can I get in there? I have to be able to get in here. Well, you know what? I'm going to try and grab this link because I really want you to see this. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Hyperlink. God almighty. You guys, I'm sorry, I can't do this. Yeah, why don't we do that, you guys? Give me like 10 minutes and I'll figure out what's going on here with the tech. Thank you for asking for that. Good idea.
I did this last semester too.
Such a piece of shit. So let's look at, again, the value of social capital. Have you guys ever heard of the term called crowdfunding? Okay, so disaster relief is one area where crowdfunding has been pretty effective. And here's the thing that came out of that. Matt Slyer, at some point, posted after the video had been out for 13 minutes, meaning this was right after Florence, thing that hit, North Carolina and Florida last year. The video had been out for 13 minutes. They had captured some video. They went around their neighborhood showing everything totally devastated. They posted it. They were already collecting $8,000 in like 13 minutes to help them recover from this. Now, after 40 minutes, we're at $19,000. So here's another guy, Philip Legendre. Faith and humanity restored. Nice to see what people can do if they work together. Best wishes from Germany. So somebody in Germany saw Matt's video and said, I've been watching this on the news. Here's somebody who's really in need. I'm going to donate money. You see the kind of impact? These two people, Philip never would have known about Matt or the need that Matt was in, had Matt not used the strength of social media to put his need out there. And this guy who's got a big heart said, I care, I'll help. What can I do? That's powerful. That's the value of social media or social capital or influence. You see? Who are influencers? Influencers are people that otherwise view as knowledgeable sources of information. So there's different kinds of power that we have. And I told you that people are exchanging the value of their relationships with each other to make things happen for other people, right? So reward power can be one of those kinds of things that give us the power, right? Reward power is, if you do this for me, I will do this for you. Or it could be another example of reward power. It could be something like this. When Philip said, faith and humanity restored, nice to see what people can do if they work together, Philip is saying, your note made me feel great. I got this thank you from you, Matt. And just the very fact that you took a moment to let people know that people like me are out there helping made me feel personally rewarded. See how that's a reward? You feel better about yourself? That's an example of reward power. Coercive power is the other kind. Coercive power is, if you don't do this, I am going to do that. Okay? That's more like compelling somebody or forcing somebody to do something. So that's not something that you do because you feel great about doing it, like Philip did. That's something that you do because if you don't do it, you're going to get whacked. And you're trying to avoid the stick. One case is the carrot is persuasion, right? I want the reward of the carrot. The other one is I'm going to try and not get whacked by the stick. Legitimate power. In legitimate power, we say, okay, this individual has been asked to lead our work team in a particular project. I'm going to follow this person. Why? Is he your boss? No. But I'm still, if he asks me to do a particular thing, or for information, or for other sources of support and help that he needs from me, I'm going to give it to him. Why? Well, one, the organization has said that he's the leader on the project, so he's legitimately in the position. But number two, this guy, more than anybody else on the team, has the experience, the education, the background, the success record to legitimately have been chosen to be the person to lead. That's legitimacy. Okay? And then finally, there's expert power. The person who's got legitimate power, some of that power, as I described already, has it because not only did the organization make him the person, but they said, of all the people that we have could optionally put in that role of leadership, He's got the background, the chops, the experience, the mileage, the seniority, the maturity, all that in order to make him successful in the role. Therefore, we're going to put him in the role. But it really, at the end of the day, the organization, the people at the top said, he's got the expertise needed to make this a success, and so we're going to give him the legitimate power. And then you've got informative power. Informative power is your ability to control the flow of and the access to information. Remember, information is power. If I hold all of the information regarding something close to my chest, if I possess all the information and you need the information that I've got, it's the fact that I hold all the cards that makes me important to you. Let's look at archetypes of social media. There are 8 types of archetypes. Do you know what an archetype is? Yes?
Archetype is kind of like a mold?
Yes. Yeah, it's a mold. It's a stereotype. We can look at a few different archetypes here. We can look at a thing called the balanced life. Can I get everybody's attention back here again? So you've got the balanced life, a friend zone, a gaming hero, and a fashionista coach. These are all archetypes for influence. Let's look at this first one. In the balanced life, the description is the type of influencer eats well, exercises, and still makes time to live an all-around healthy lifestyle. That's the sort of person we're talking about who could be an influencer. What are the kinds of brands that these people tend to be effective in terms of turning other people onto the brands? Well, Under Armour, Beta brand, these kinds of things, where they're athletic brands. Why? Because people look at these folks and they say, you seem to have a really healthy lifestyle. And since you seem to have that lifestyle, you would be knowledgeable about these kinds of products. Okay? So an example of that would be Yesenia Weiss. She turns negatives to positives, and she focuses her podcasts and Instagram posts on fitness, motivation, and overcoming adversity. So do you see how through her podcast, she can influence people into living and leading out more healthy, balanced lives, right? So if I'm a brand like Under Armour, if I'm one of those brands, then I might like to hire Yesenia Weiss to be a spokesperson for my brand. Because she can then talk about it during the context of her podcast and maybe say, today's podcast was partially covered by, Under Armour. Now, another example of an archetype could be what we call the friend zone. These are online friend squads that create comedic content focused on collaboration across channels. Kind of get that in your head. These are groups of people who are creating funny content and getting people to collaborate in multiple ways. Brands that use this, Lego and Hot Pockets. I can kind of see that, right? Why? Who eats Hot Pockets? Sure, students do, a lot of times, right? So isn't this the kind of content that you would like, right? Now, examples of a person like this in this friend zone could be Lanky Box is led by 2 comedic influencers, Adam and Justin. Their content is funny and family friendly. Why is that important? Well, office workers eat Hot Pockets. They're going to have families, right? And likely because they're funny, they're engaging, people look forward to listening to them. So it all has to do with the kinds of consumers that you're trying to appeal to and how your product might fit into their lifestyle. So you're looking for people that are highly recognized, that also are going to be influential, and other people saying, well, I like those guys. So mind you that what we're talking about here are tribes. People who lead a particular kind of a lifestyle. And what we're saying is if you lead a particular kind of a lifestyle, there are going to be brands who naturally are sold and marketed to people within those tribes. And there are going to be certain people who are perfect spokesmen or spokespersons for those brands that are wanting to market to the members of those tribes. Do you see the way that all fits together? market segmentation on psychographics, lifestyle, attitudes, interests, opinions, behaviors, beliefs, all that, culture. Brands that want to sell to the members of that tribe, and particularly individuals that have a lot of social capital, highly influential, because the people in these tribes are already tuned into who they are. And if they speak a kind word about the brand, the rest of the people in the tribe are very likely to listen, hear, and respond favorably. Influencer marketing. Reasons that U.S. internet users would use ad blockers. Think about this. In the future, in the very near future, by the way, if you want to continue to market to people on the internet, it's not going to be possible to do it using traditional advertising methods. It's already getting super hard to use traditional advertising methods to get our messages through. And why is it hard? Well, we got pop-up blockers on our computers now, so that if something does pop up, most of our systems are set to shut it down before we see it. But internally, we also have our own pop-up blockers in our head. Do you know what I mean? The minute that you see it's an ad, your own internal response is, I'm going to block that. And when that happens, then marketers go, this old approach to saying, this is my message, this is my brand positioning, this is me having a call to action to send you to the stores or to my website to buy something, that direct approach doesn't work anymore. When it gets shut down, is it okay for marketers to go home and say, well, I guess we just can't do marketing anymore? What do you think? Are we just going to stop marketing because the old way doesn't work? No, of course not, right? What are we going to do? Well, if there's a mountain in front of you, you go around it. And if you can't go around it, maybe you got to bore a hole through it. And if you can't go through it, maybe you got to go under it, right? So what we're saying now is content, social media content, has to be the way for the future. What does that mean? Well, in prior lecture last week, I talked about permission-based marketing. Meaning, permission-based says people are not going to tolerate having their entertainment or news interrupted anymore with ad messages. And they're not going to tolerate me telling you all the reasons why you should buy my thing. If it doesn't try to appeal to me by showing me you care about my problems, you understand me, you're providing me with information that I can use on my own to solve my own problems. If you're not providing me with content that's valuable and actionable and is real communication, then I'm not going to listen anymore. I'm not going to listen to that crap anymore. So that means that we have to now create meaningful interaction and provide important communication that actually meets our customers and our consumers where they are, solicits responses from them, where we're listening closely and responding to what they're telling us, and as we learn more about them, we begin to serve them up with new information that reflects the values that they've taught us, the things that are important to them. That's a radically different approach to advertising than what we've done so far, which is, here's my widget, this is 10 reasons why I think you should buy it, go buy it. Now we're saying, instead, what's important to you? What do you care about? Why don't you begin the conversation with us? Oh, that's what's important to you? Let me show you some blogs that'll help you understand that better. Let me show you some videos or some podcasts or whatever, sponsored by the brand. Stuff that I want to listen to because I feel like I'm getting valuable assistance from you. And now that you've given me something that's valuable to me, I'm much more inclined to do business with you in the future. Because you've proven to me that you actually understand me and care about me, and you've addressed me and the needs that I've told you I have. Isn't that a much more powerful way to try and make a sale? You see the magnificent difference between the old way and the new way? Are you guys following what I'm saying? Okay, so that's what we're saying. Influencer marketing starts there. It says, we're going to find people who are relevant to the folks in these tribes, who are already experts in particular categories, who are going to fit a discussion of our brands and products into what they're already talking about. And because these folks that the folks in these tribes value are talking about us, because it's word of mouth, let's say, word of mouth coming from people that have a large degree of social influence, I'm much more interested in what they have to say. It doesn't feel like advertising anymore. Now it feels like real, authentic communication coming from people that I can trust. That's really different, right? Remember back in 2008 when Barack Obama ran for president and he was elected? Do you know who the most important influencer was for Barack Obama? This person had a talk show, and she had Barack Obama on her show, a number of times. Oprah, super influential with all kinds of people all over the United States. And guess where Obama decided to announce his candidacy for the president of the United States? Oprah's show. Do you think, is Oprah an influencer? Do you think she had clout? Still has clout? If she put her clout behind Barack Obama, is Barack going to have a much more likely chance of getting elected? It couldn't have been more magical than that, right? She's a woman. That's really different. She's African American. Politics, that's really different. Barack does it on her show. Everybody listen. Okay. So what are the social media platforms marketers are looking for influence? Well, Instagram actually is the most important, okay, for influencer marketing, followed by Facebook. Well, I'd say that this is kind of, in certain respects, a no-brainer. Because Facebook, by far and away, is the biggest of the platforms anyway. Facebook has 2 billion users on it every day. Way bigger than anything else out there. So, of course, the influencers, people are going to be looking to Facebook to find influencers. And if the influencers are going to have any success in convincing people to do anything, they have to reach the numbers. And where are the numbers? Well, duh, they're on Facebook, right? When you think about this, that Twitter is, again, like the third most powerful, is it any surprise that Donald Trump is on Twitter all the time? Okay, now let's look at, I told you earlier tonight about a cascade, an influence cascade. Do you guys remember what I said specifically about this cascade? What are we talking about here? Something is flowing from, something is flowing. What is flowing? What is a flow all about? We already talked about that tonight. What's a flow? Movement between the nodes. So this is me, and this is you. And over here, I've dropped a video on there, or I've dropped a link to my podcast, or I'm showing you pictures on my summer vacation or whatever, or just a text, right? All of these things are flows between my node and your node. So in the pyramid that we talked about earlier, who's at the top? People that have more influence or people that have less influence? More. So these are highly influential people, okay? Let's call them hipsters, highly influential people, okay? Now, just like the shape of a pyramid, there are not very many people like this at the top. It's getting very narrow. And at the bottom, it's a very broad base. Why? Now, this is where the most of the people are. But as you go from the hipsters down to the bottom of the pyramid, as you go from one level to another level, the people in each succeeding level have more influence or less influence as I go from top to bottom? They have less. These people down here also have far fewer people connected to their node, right? Meaning, I told you earlier tonight that on LinkedIn, I've got about 2,500 first level connections. All right, that means that these are all first level. So it looks kind of like this for me, right? I mean, just all kinds of people first level like this. Now, there are a lot of people that might be one step away. They may not have 2,500, maybe they've got 1,500. There probably aren't as many people up here as there are here. And I can tell you for sure that when it comes to influence and connections, who do you suppose has more influence, me or Bill Gates? Duh, right? So if I've got 2,500, maybe he has 25 million, right? I mean, okay? So when it comes down to being influential, Bill Gates, because he's got all these connections, can reach lots of people.
This podcast, Empowered Marketing by Professor Hines, is exclusively sponsored by A-Cubed Marketing Services in Orange County, California. In business since 2013, A-Cubed Marketing offers a complete suite of internet marketing services, including strategic marketing consultation, social media marketing using all forms of social media, campaign creation and management in both paid and owned media, pay-per-click campaigns, search engine optimization, graphic design, and videography. A-Cubed Marketing is owned and managed by Professor Joe Hines. His experience includes over 20 years of Fortune 100 corporate marketing management, as well as 10 years of academic work as professor at California State University Fullerton, Concordia, Biola, Cal Baptist University, and Fullerton College. Find out more about A-Cubed Marketing Services. Use the link on the homepage of this podcast or call A-Cubed Marketing at 714-872-0561.